Hello and welcome to the Entrefluential Life Podcast, early morning show. I'm your host, John Tanner.
And I'm your co-host, Sebastian Tanner. How you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Sebastian, how about you, buddy?
Doing fantastic as well. It's nice to be back to the show. We had that little vacation. We've been gone for a little bit, guys. We've missed you a lot. And I've missed you a lot. Being able to do this with you is like such a great way to connect. And it's like we're on FaceTime, but we're able to do the Entrefluential life at the same time. So it's great. It feels really great to be back.
Absolutely. I agree 100%, man. I love that we're able to see each other face to face and talk. It's different from, I love our texting, and I'm in that respect, I'm a modern guy because I'm still very traditional a whole lot of ways, as you could tell by my appearance with a tie on, but I embrace technology too. And so I love texting. So it's really nice to get face to face with somebody. And this is the next best thing to getting face to face, because you're in Boston, I'm in Jacksonville. And so just to get on here and see your face, I love that, that we can connect in this way. And then we get to add value to the people that are tuning in to this show, because that's something that we also enjoy doing, right? Is sharing wisdom with others and learning from others as well.
Yeah, because it's not just about improving yourself and learning valuable information for yourself, but it's also about sharing that with others. It's like the greatest gift in this world is the gift of giving. So they tell you, they get to see those commercials when it comes Christmas time. It's like, oh, this year, the gift of giving, give back your family this air fryer or whatever it is, So I think I love sharing this type of information. And it's also information that is not widely taught. Like in school, you don't really get this type of information.
It's
something that you got to go and look for it yourself. So when when you find some people that want to share it with others, it's amazing, because it really it's all to boost the mindset and to become better, get ahead in life. And
there's a Bible verse that says, as iron sharpens iron, so does one man sharpen another. And so that is so valuable, so true in the wisdom that we're sharing here, right? And and then on top of that, like, the other side of the coin is there's a lot of misinformation out there.
Much. We're getting
right, and so we need truth, right? Good, valuable information to be put into the marketplace to offset that bad information that's out there, so that people won't be misled, led astray, which is happening pervasively, which is sad, And we've got to counteract it, just like there's counterterrorism. We've got to counteract misinformation, bad information, with good stuff, with good content.
I 100% agree, especially in the age of technology that we're in right now. Even myself, like, I go on TikTok or Instagram, and sometimes like I'm getting shared all these different weird ideologies, and I think that's the devil's job, is to lead people away. And right now we're in a time where people are actually starting to consider, like, okay, all of this craziness, maybe there is a God. Maybe, like, I do need something better to believe in. And if they're trying so hard to make you think that he's not real, then that tells you something that's really huge. That's got to tell you something important, because if they don't want you to believe in God,
why?
What's the why are they so against it?
So and so, like, everybody who's listening here, I would imagine, is already a believer, or they're curious and they're leaning towards believing. And so you have to use what's called the gift of discernment, and filtering the information that you receive from all around you. So just like this, for instance, I'm gonna turn this bottle upside down. It's a filter, right? Like, if you were using this as a filter, you put all the information in. When it gets to the bottom, the filter is siphoning the bad stuff and keeping it up on the top, and then the good clean water will come through on the bottom, right? And so that filtration system, that's what discernment is in the mind. And so you're taking in all of the information that's around you. This is called, phenomena. And then you use discernment to filter it, to make sure that you take out the impurities and only take in what's good. Because if you do take in impurities, if you don't use a filter system, then those impurities are going to hurt you.
It's going to corrupt your mind.
If you ate bad food, it's going to make you sick. Well, if you take in bad information in your brain and start using that information in your subconscious mind, well, then you're going to start living out bad habits that are going to hurt you in the short term and in the long term.
And it's unfortunate that a lot of parents make the mistake of giving their child the wrong type of filtering system inside of their mindset. Like,
oh yeah, they're actually programming them with bad operating systems.
Yeah, and especially the way that kids will talk to themselves. Like I noticed with the way that I've talked to myself, and
yeah,
I had a coworker at Got Junk actually, who I was telling him like
yeah,
about how I got into the boxing, and I was like, man, this is amazing. I feel like I finally found something that I'm kind of more naturally good at. It feels natural for me. I feel like I really enjoy this a lot. It's coming easy to me, learning the stuff, getting the techniques. It feels smooth. And the way I told him it was a poor choice of words that I used, because I said something like, oh, growing up, like I was never good at basketball. I was never naturally good at soccer or this and that. I was never like the star athlete like some kids were. And he was telling me, that's one of your problems right there, is the way that you talk to yourself. Like instead of saying, oh, I've never been good at this, I'm not good at anything, and you got to say, well, I haven't found what I'm amazing, what I'm great at yet. I haven't found what I'm naturally talented for yet, but I will find it. Like it's that little flip of the way
yeah,
that you talk to yourself. And I think a lot
true.
of kids, especially coming from a sports aspect, like when you play sports as a kid, you have this sense of like a little bit of fear, like you don't want to mess up, and then everyone's there at the game. The parents are there, your parents are there, the other kids' parents are there, and so it's like if you mess up in the limelight,
Yeah.
then you're so like worried about it. So then I was watching my girlfriend's little brother's team play soccer, and you can notice like there was one kid that would go for the goals. He didn't care if he missed or what. He just shot it, and it was like he scored a couple times and missed a couple times, but he didn't have that fear blocking him. And then a couple other kids, when some kids running down and the defense got to come to them, there's a little moment of hesitation in there.
Yeah.
And I think that it goes back to the mindset, because it's like you have to encourage your children. Like you got to teach them the right way. And since no one knows how to parent, you're still figuring out life as an adult. So it's like you got to get them taught the right way at a young age. Like believe in yourself. You can do it. Why not you? It's not just like champions, legends. These guys, they're not born, they're built. They have to work for it.
Yes.
And so anyone, like why not you?
Yeah.
Why not me?
Right.
Why can't we be great?
Yeah.
Why can't we put in the work? And so you gotta fortify your mind.
Yep.
And especially it goes back to the discernment. You're getting all this misinformation, and fortify your mind with God, and that's going to give you strength and clarity. And that's what we need in today's world.
Yeah, and I think true grit is missing also. Like, if you look at an iceberg, at the very surface of the water, you see a little piece, and it's like, oh, that's the tip of the top of the iceberg. That's the part that's successful, and people don't see like underneath the water, there's this huge giant portion of all the hard work that it takes to get to the top. And so like, just like with a professional basketball player, you're not looking at how many free throws that they had to shoot to prepare to make those free throws during the game. How much practice that they have to go through in order to get to that level to play at the NBA. And so like people just want the quick, easy fix. Like they think they can just jump to the top, and they want to bypass all of the hard work that goes underneath that success. And that's a misnomer. That's a total false type of mindset that people have. And basically, this is what's going on across America. And I have to be honest with you, man. I'm shocked that I'm reading this book again, Think and Grow Rich. Right, I'm reading it again, and I'm here reading that in the 1920s and 30s, during the Great Depression, rather, that there was a sweeping sense of deservedness, where people were like wanting something for nothing, right?
Like we just completed the circle. Now we're back to that.
We're back to it again.
They don't want to go and put the labor in. They don't want to put the hard work.
Yeah.
They got those COVID checks, those unemployment checks.
Yes.
And they got real comfortable making more money than they did at their minimum wage job.
Yeah.
Whatever their day job was, they were definitely making more, because I know I was making more money when I was getting those checks. And so it's like, after you got that, like it's all of the businesses. It doesn't matter if you have a diner or whatever, because some of my customers that I've spoken to for garage doors, this one, I think this one lady I had, her daughter or someone she knows, like her family has a diner, and they're struggling to find solid workers. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially after COVID, she's telling me like she has a kind of a solid team, but one time one of the workers was supposed to open the shop and just messaged her the day off and was like, "Oh, I'm not feeling
Yeah.
too good today. I can't go and open." Now she had no one to go and open the business for her.
Yeah.
So, you put your
And
trust in that individual, and then they're like, "Oh, I just
yeah.
I don't really feel too great today." Like it's you're not gonna feel amazing every single day. You got to
Yeah.
go to work. It's
Yeah.
work.
You just do it. Right.
You
You need a
just make it
paycheck.
happen.
You need money.
My
Ooh,
bills, the funny thing
and
is like my rent's not gonna get
and
sick 1 month.
and it's an exchange of value, right? Like, hey, you may not be feeling good about going to work today, but you need to go because you made a commitment to the company to be there for them, and they're paying you, and they hired you instead of hiring somebody else. And
They
so
they could have
now you're
given
going to
anyone else that
shortchange.
job.
You can't shortchange the company. You're doing a
Yeah.
disservice to the owners, and you're doing a disservice to the clients that come back. And so when you do feel good and you want to go make money, you're not going to have any clients because they're going to start going to a different restaurant because that restaurant isn't serving them. So
And that's
it's
the
a
thing
domino
is,
effect. And if you
yep.
multiply that across the nation, that's what caused the Great Depression.
Yeah,
It's what
and
caused the Great
yeah,
Recession of 2008. And
and
so
it's
like
almost like we're
1930s,
leading back into
2008, and
that.
here we are. Looks
Yep.
like we're heading back in that direction, Sebastian.
Yeah, and it's sad to think about, because the thing is, it's all about perspective with life, and I don't want to get too far into it before we go into the show,
Yeah,
but I think it's just like it's a really good conversation that needs to be held, and I think people need to get a reality check because when
absolutely.
you have the work and you're not grateful for it, and you
Yeah.
don't have that necessity, but let's say
Yep.
you lose those customers, and then now you actually have to worry about, am I able to pay my rent this month? Am I able
Yeah.
to put groceries? Can I feed myself?
Yep.
Do I have to eat ramen every single meal? And that
Yeah.
sucks. That mentality, that scarcity mindset is disgusting to live with. And so then when you're in that moment, you're gonna think, oh damn, I really wish I had those customers now. You're gonna think
Yeah.
like, you know what? I wish I would have smiled more. I was watching
Yep.
some motivational stuff yesterday, and Stephen A. Smith, he's a really popular analyst, sports analyst. He does a lot of
Okay.
stuff. He's most famous for basketball, I would say, but could be not. I just grew up with as a basketball fan. I know he's in other stuff as well. He commentates a lot, but the thing is, he was talking about how he almost lost his job at one point. ESPN didn't renew his contract 1 year. I forget
Okay.
what year he said. It was a while ago. And he was talking to his mother, and his mother's like, "Could you have done anything differently? Like, what could have been different?" And one thing that he acknowledged was that anytime he went to the bosses, he went to them with problems. He
Oh.
never went to them with solutions. He always would have a
Mhm.
problem, and so he's asking himself, like, what could I have done better? Why
Wow.
didn't they renew my contract? And it's because he
Wow.
said the bosses want the people, when you're going to go and talk to them, they want you to come to them with a solution to their
Yeah.
problem. They
Yep.
don't want you to go and just come up with, oh, you're complaining nonstop. It's
Yeah.
nonstop complaints, and it's nonstop. This is an issue. This is an issue. Not,
Yep.
you know what? This is an issue we have in our workplace, but
Yep.
I came up with an idea for what we can do to fix that. What do you think? I
Mhm.
want to bring this to you because you're the boss.
Yep.
So
Great.
it was really
Yep.
interesting to see that
Wow.
mindset because
That
that's how workers are today. It's all
that's
just
great. You know,
complaining.
the exactly what you're saying is covered in this book, man. I just was reading
That's
this in the last
amazing.
2 days on this
Wow.
chapter on organized planning and leadership skills, and then it has like uh, 30 things that you should not do. And right here,
Wow.
man, it's exactly what you're talking about.
Yep.
Like negative personality, right there. There is no
That's what
hope
it
of
is.
success for the person who repels people through a negative personality. Success comes through the application of power, and power is attained through the cooperative efforts of other people. A negative personality will not induce cooperation.
You really don't. You really like, instead of attracting people, instead of being a light to others, like we tell you guys,
Yeah,
you become that darkness to others. Like you're immediately your energy surrounding you is
yeah,
just negative. So when you
and
go
it
to that
repels people.
customer, they can see it and they can
Yep,
feel that vibe.
yep.
It's like a weird vibe. It's
Well, that's
something
your
about
sixth
this guy.
sense, right? So, like, we have sight, sound,
Yes.
touch, taste, smell, right? But the
Yep.
sixth sense is your soul, your spirit. And so
Yes.
your spirit is repelled by negative energy.
It is. That's why you guys don't want to be like that, And if you have a
Mm-hmm.
customer that's like that, you can't let it rain on your sunny day.
Exactly.
Like there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. So, and even if you're going through struggle whatever it is, you can't let it affect your work, because you go to work, you go there to perform. You think, when I have a bad day and you think I'm going to go and give a customer a quote that I'm going to be negative around them? No, it's a new opportunity. It's a new person that I've never met before. I've never talked to. Maybe I can have a conversation with them and learn something useful. So I have to be excited when I have that customer come in. I got a customer. Hey, how you doing? I'm Sebastian. It's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for having me out here. That's the first thing I say when I talk to them is, thank you for having me out here. You could have called anyone else out here, but you chose to have me come. Whether or not I do the business for you, it was a pleasure for you to even consider me. And I think that appreciation, it helps me out. Awesome. Because I genuinely feel it, and they can tell. And I think that's where kind of like, maybe I should do a lesson on customer service one time, because I think I've really honed down my customer service skills. And that's just from being a negative guy for so long, like with work. And, I'm like, you know what? God showed me that I got to be grateful. Because when I asked him for help, like the other day, I was asking him for guidance and for help, and I got a job for my own company that I've started up. It's called Quality Assembly. It's a furniture assembly business. I have this handyman skill now, so I want to apply it to be my own boss, and to do stuff for myself. And I'm telling you guys, like, I put on my worship music, have a little PlayStation Hillsong United station on Pandora, and I played it, and I'm listening. I'm just talking to God. I'm having a personal conversation. I'm like, look, time is really hard for me right now. And I was really emotional, really upset, really negative. And I'm like, look, I don't want to be like this way right now. I want to turn to you for help. And he answered my prayer within 15 minutes. It was that fast. And it doesn't always happen that fast.
And sent you a job.
He sent me a job that day. And so it's like, it's all about the perspective. And you guys got to be grateful that you have these customers. And that's how you provide that 5-star service, is you make them feel like they're valuable. Because there's so many different handymen out there. There's so many garage companies out there. There's so many life coaches out there. The fact that they chose to use you, you have to, you got to be grateful for that, because they can go and use anyone. So don't let your ego be inflated all the way up here. And that's not how it is. They can use anyone.
Those are also covered in here too. It talks about destroying your ego.
Yes.
And it also talks about having a pleasing personality. And those are valuable. Those are valuable traits that you can't take for granted.
That's how you separate yourself from the competition. Is like 100%. Something simple as being genuine. Something simple as being excited to see them. It makes it makes everything different, because if I'm hiring a guy, maybe to get a haircut, and he's miserable the whole time, I'm like, I'm never coming back to you ever again. I don't care if you did a good job. You have so many options in today's world, and with the technology that we have,
especially
anyone
in
could
this
be their own
cancel
boss.
culture that we live in.
Absolutely. This cancel culture, this Me Too stuff. I mean, everything, like the movements that's going on right now.
And it's like everybody's all about like what's in it for me, like what's good for me.
That's what it is.
Me. And so like they'll cut you off in a heartbeat. People will cut you off in a heartbeat. And so
it does. It's happened to me. I was doing a quote one time.
One, treat people nice, above and beyond. Go above and beyond, right?
Yes.
And number two is be sympathetic and compassionate for people, because people go through hard times too, and you can't just cut them off because you don't know what's going on in their day. So
you gotta have empathy for people.
You
gotta kind of feel what they're feeling and understand. And something as simple as that, you can change their whole day. You can change that customer's whole day just because they talked to somebody that was willing to listen.
Exactly.
And willing to understand them.
Always be polite.
Sometimes they don't have family members that they can go to for that type of stuff. Maybe their friends will clown them if they go to them with their problems. So they meet somebody that they have no relation to. I think I said it on here one time, and I'm going to wrap it up with this, but I think I shared it on the podcast, but I had a customer that was going through quite a bit, and then she had to worry, like she was really in a downward tunnel with spending money on a whole bunch of stuff with the house and whatnot. And then she has to worry about spending over $1,000 for a new garage door. And it's just like, I never got the job, but the relief that she got that day just for talking to me and being able to vent about her problems. And it's like, I didn't get the job. I don't care. I was able to help someone, and I was able to impact them in a way. And it's like, You're not there to judge them. It's like they sometimes that's what a therapist is for, because you can go and talk to them without being judged. And sometimes when you talk to your friends and family, they have their own implications of you and their own ideas of you. And so when you share this with them, sometimes you get negative feedback. But when you have a neutral party, you can just talk to me, and I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to tell you what to do or whatever. And if I see that you have like a negative mindset, and I'm like, look, it could always be worse. And when you think about that, then you're grateful. When you have your whole list of problems and you have some guy that's like, oh my gosh, I would love to be, you got the homeless people that's out there. I would love to have your problems, dude. I would love to be able to work and have my own home and stuff like that. Then you think to yourself, let me take all my problems back and let me just deal with it with some grit and some toughness, and stop being so ungrateful for what you have. It's like, you think you got problems, dude? No, go to the third world country where they're out there mining and stuff to make these Apple phones that we have, where they're slave laboring to give us this technology, and then we get these phones and we're not even happy for them. Like, oh, this phone sucks and this and that. Like, dude, you don't know what just went. You have no idea. You don't even have the slightest clue of what someone's family just went through to go and mine for these things, and to go and get these materials for you, so you can sit there in your first world problems and you can complain about it. Like, it's there's no gratefulness anymore. There's no
we just need to be grateful. We need to be positive.
We need to be positive. There's so much negativity out there in this world. I'd rather be positive. I'd rather be a light to others. I don't want to be the darkness that they're already surrounded with.
Yep.
The world is, getting worse.
It comes down to mindset, right? We were talking about mindset, programming your mind. Yes. And then also a couple of other things that you can do is we do our physical fitness exercises, right? We eat healthy.
That helps.
All of these things work towards having a holistic mind, body, spirit, connectedness, interconnected, so that you're living holistically, optimally in all levels of your entity, of your being, right? So you have to feed all three of them. You have to feed your physical, you have to feed your mental, you have to feed your spiritual.
Yes.
And I think what you're talking about with what people are struggling with is that spiritual side. And I think it's because there's, again, with all the information, the mindset, the misinformation, the spiritual side, having that negative attitude, those are two of the three things that make us who we are. And if they're out of balance, then people are walking through life out of balance. And so it's important to feed all three of these things, become cognizant, right? To be aware, right? To have focus, and then so that way you can address these issues to overcome our own shortcomings so that we can live an optimal life.
Yeah, so you gain that sense of self-awareness.
Self-awareness is the first step, right?
Yeah.
And then you start making adjustments to
exactly
optimize.
You start with being self-aware. Okay, this is not suitable for me, this lifestyle I'm living. Now you got step one, being self-aware. Now you're going to go to step two. You're going to recognize what these issues are with your life, and then boom, solve it. I challenge you guys, do just this week, eat healthier. Make your meals for this week, track it. Even if you can't make every single thing, make better decisions while you're out. If you have to stop at a gas station, get a protein bar and a protein shake. And that's going to be an amazing meal for you. It's going to be so much lower calories than going to Burger King and McDonald's. And you can go to Wendy's, for example. You get the number 3. You get a burger with some fries and a drink. Some of those meals are about 2,000 calories. And it's unbelievable to think about that a burger could be 1,000 calories. And it's not even, the volume of that food is not going to fill you. And it's going to do worse for your body. Like, I've been tracking a lot more. I'm down, I think since I've started the weight cut, I'm roughly down 20 pounds now. And I can feel a big difference. And not even just like when I look at my physique, I still got a couple months more before I see a big difference with my physique. But what I'm talking about is the difference in my energy levels, the difference with the inside of me, not just the physical part, but it's like the inside of how I feel every single day. I feel better. I don't feel sluggish and so tired and everything anymore. And that's with eating healthy. So I'll leave it at that.
That's great.
It's you guys got to go and feed all sides of your walk of life to have a better quality of life. And that's what we're here trying to learn.
Yep.
How can we enjoy it more?
So with that, let's go ahead and dive into the physical tip of the day. So you can carry on with educating the audience on some exercises that we have for our show. I'm going to go ahead and pull up that screen right now while you prep
Excellent.
introducing that to the audience.
That's right. So we actually have another Nyla Ray workout. I love the fact that she's made so much of these superhero themed workouts. And I think it adds another element to the training, because going to the gym can get and so much just repetition and discipline that's needed to go into there. And it can get quite boring after a while if you go in there and do the same thing every time. And I'm telling you, if you do one of these workouts, you guys saw me in that one episode where I filmed that workout. That was a killer workout for me. I was struggling about the whole time. I had started off with it starts you off with 25, 24 squats. And then you have to go into these other movements where you're incorporating a lot of these leg muscles. And you guys could tell on there, it was not a walk in the park for me. And I'm telling you, you guys give these workouts a try. It is intense. It's going to really change. And these workouts, I'm so grateful for her for posting these superhero themes, because you add a different element to it. It's like you can kind of bring that kid side of you back. Like, let me be Arrow today, and I'm going to do Arrow's training. Let me be Wolverine, and let me be Thor and stuff. So she's awesome, man. She's so amazing for putting this content out there. I'm so happy that we can share it with you guys. This workout is an Arrow themed workout. As you guys can see, we have 9 different exercises. We have 3 different levels. Level 1 is 3 sets. You got to do all 9 exercise. That's 1 set. So level 1 is up to 3. If you guys can't get to that, do just 1 set or do 2. And then you'll go from there, and you'll progress as you go on and as you tackle these workouts. Level 2, we have 5 sets, and level 3 is 7 sets. The rest between each set is up to 2 minutes. So you guys don't have to go through 1 through 9 exercise, complete that 1 set, and then go to set 2 and set 3 for level 1. You can rest up to 2 minutes after you've completed that first set. So you guys can take your time. You're really going to need it. I'm telling you guys from experience. I'm not even joking around. You really will need it. So, well, without further ado, I'm going to get into this breakdown of the workouts. We have exercise number 1 is 20 box jumps. Number 2 is to failure tricep push-ups. When you go to failure, it's really hard to get past the mindset part of it, because your body can do a little bit more than when your mind thinks that you have to quit. So you have to push yourself past that level of, I'm pushing myself on these push-ups. This is the most challenging thing that you can do, especially with running and things like that. Like when I go to the boxing gym, when I go to those classes, when I go just to the gym with my girlfriend and I'm doing my runs, I've learned how to push myself more. Like when I get gassed and I'm cramping and I just want to give up, instead of just stopping, I'll just lower the speed and I'll go a little bit slower. I'll go as slow as I need to without having to stop the run. So I go to a slow speed while I'm still jogging, and I push myself through that. And then I find that I can get past that barrier and I can catch my breath back. I can get that second win, that runner's win. And then I can go back and increase the speed. So when you guys are doing these tricep push-ups to failure, let's say you do 5 of them and you think that you're done, go at least 1 more. Go 1 more. That's what this one guy says with BPN. I forgot.
I like that. Go 1 more.
I love it, because it's like, at least do at least 1 more. If you can't do 5 more, whatever, but at least you went 1 more, you push that barrier. You reach that barrier of 5. I can't get past this. Let me do 1 more and squeeze it out. You got to push yourself, and you
no
just
pain, no gain.
went past. Yeah, you have to feel the pain.
Yeah.
The exercise number 3 is 20 leg raises. Number 4 is 20 squats. Number 5 is to failure shoulder taps. So you can see right there, you do the plank, do your shoulder taps. You guys have to really push yourself. When it says to failure versus when it says 20 reps, when you have 20 reps, your mind's like, okay, once I get to 15, then you start getting excited. You start getting happy for yourself. Oh, I'm almost done. And imagine you still got to keep going. When you go to failure, you don't have a set number. It's you against your mind.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
And let me add something here, Sebastian.
Yeah.
In your first set, you might be able to do 30 of these. In your second set, you might only be able to do 20. And in your third set, you might only be able to do 10. But that's okay, because you've exhausted yourself. You try to do as many as you can until you can't. You're about to collapse. That's what we mean by failure.
Exactly.
You just do as much as you
Yes.
can, and so it's okay if it's a less number on each set. It's going to be.
It's
Because
it that
you're
that's
exhausting your body, but you're building your
yes.
muscles when you do that.
I'm really happy that you said that, because when people expect that they're going to do all 3 sets with the same number to
Number
failure
of
reps,
repetitions. Yeah,
yeah, it's not
that
going to
only
happen.
happens when you're strong enough to do that
Exactly.
through
So
repetition.
yeah, I love that. That was a really great addition to this. It's really important for you guys to know that you will not hit that same number when
Hmm.
you guys are in that conditioned
And it's
shape, and
perfectly fine.
it's so
That's
fine.
normal.
What you want is the failure. It doesn't matter where you fail at. You want to
Hmm.
hit that point where you can't do any more at all.
Yeah.
Not when you can kind of still do it. You got to keep going, man. You got to keep going. You got to go until you cannot physically do a one more rep. That's
Right.
when you have reached failure. Thank God you reached failure, because the only way to go from here is up.
Yeah.
Number 6 is 20 sitting twists. It's also known as Russian twist. Number 7, 20 lunges. Number 8 is to failure pull-ups. Guys, this one is a pretty big ask, because to be quite frank, I'm not even at the point where I'm going to go and do till failure pull-ups, because I haven't even mastered that part of my body yet. But what
I
I'm
can't
going to
even do
do
like
is
3 of those.
it's that one's it's a pretty tall risk. So what I would say is, if you have a gym where you have a pull-up machine and you have
Yeah.
that little bar that you sit on, that little plate,
That's helpful.
and you can put the weight on there, put
Yeah.
like 100 pounds or put 150, whatever, max it out if you need to. If you can't even do it with like so much like assistance, put as much assistance as you need, to the point where you can get a lot of reps in and do it till
Yeah.
failure. And then that's
Mhm.
what it is. If you guys don't have that accessibility, I would say just skip it, like, or if you have a bar that you can go to, like a playground or something. And me and my dad used to do these runs at these parks, and they have these little push-up bars. If it's tall enough, you can go, instead of in the push-up above it, go under the bar, and then you can pull yourself up. You have your feet on the ground, so it's
Yeah.
not a full pull-up. You guys will be able to do this. I know for a fact you can do this. And you go and just pull yourself up and do that till failure.
Yeah.
A
Practice makes
full pull
perfect.
up is hard to it's hard. It's a big ask right now to do a full pull up. If you can go and bang them out, I love that for you. I'm really happy that you guys you're at that physique level. I'm not there, and I'm not ashamed of it. I don't want you guys
Yeah.
to be ashamed of it either. So
Yeah.
if you don't have it, just skip it. If you can do a modified version, do the
Yeah.
modified version. And
Yep.
then finally, we have exercise number 9 is 20 sit-ups. Now you just completed one set. Rest your 2 minutes, and then go back through it. By your second set, if you're starting off, if you're a beginner with these calisthenic movements, with these plyometric movements, I promise you, just like my dad said for the till failure ones, it's also going to apply to the workouts that we have here with a set number of repetitions. If you
Mm-hmm.
did 20 box jumps the first round and you get to that second round, even with that 2 minutes rest, you might just do 10 box jumps. You might only be able to do 15 before you feel physically exhausted, and that's perfectly okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why we have modifications for workouts. Just modify it as you need to, and
that's
that
it.
wraps up our physical tip of the day, our health and fitness tip of the day.
Awesome. Thank you, Sebastian. And we're going to go back here to the main screen. Okay, cool. So that was our physical tip of the day. For our mental tip of the day, I have a quote by Jim Rohn. And that quote is, "Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune." And that also is a repetition of what was covered here in Think and Grow Rich. And what they're saying here from the studies that were done by the 25 years of studying the most successful people in America during that time period, which is the early half of the 20th century, about 100 years ago, almost 75 years ago, the main takeaway from these people was your college education will make you a job, a career, it'll make you a salary, but it's your personal training that you do after the fact, or even if you don't go to college, like just the self-education that you can accumulate by studying people who've been successful and coming up with a plan of action to make money is how you're going to become wealthy. And here's the thing: if you could be a doctor, you could be a lawyer, you could be an engineer, an architect, you're going to have a cap of how much money you can make per year, because you're only one person and you're limited in the time that you can give in exchange for the value of the services that you're providing. So whether you're a plastic surgeon making $1 million a year, or you're an attorney and you're making $200,000 a year, whatever it is, or a CPA, you can only do so much that you're capable of doing as an individual. Maybe you get to a leadership position and you have a team and you're in charge of that team. And so your company pays you more money because of your responsibility of overseeing a team of 5, 10, 20, 50 people, right? Again, you're making more money because of your responsibility, but you're capped, right? But if you're an entrepreneur, which is why we are the Entrefluential life, there is no cap on entrepreneurship. The sky's the limit. And you can grow as high as you want to. You can grow as wide as you want to as an entrepreneur, as long as you're providing a valuable product or a service that people want or need. And so if you do that, you can, and the way that you do that is by you studying what other people are doing, what other people are not doing, and coming up with an innovative way to provide a product or a service that people want or need. That's it.
There's so many options out there. And just like Brendan Burchard talks about adding value, you know, that's the biggest thing, is you have to come to it with a humble mindset of like, you know, it's not that they need you, you need them. You need them. Like these performing artists, everyone in this world, these millionaire business people, and McDonald's, whoever started that, you need the people to come and be customers. The customers.
That was Ray Kroc. Ray Kroc. I think it was Ray Kroc.
Yeah, you know, you think that he would be successful today? You think they would have a whole bunch of franchises if nobody liked McDonald's? The business would have died. You know? So you really need the customers more than they need you, and you got to let them see that your sense of humility, the sense of graciousness, and you got to add value to them. It's not just about what people can do for your life and what you can just do me, like we talked about before. How can I add value to someone else? And there's so many avenues of doing
do you remember the movie Robots?
Yes, the cartoon.
Do you remember the big guy that he went to go see, the big round guy? He looked like a tuxedo. Right?
Yes.
And his quote was, "See a need, fill a need."
That's right. And that's how you have to live your life as an entrepreneur. It's like,
that's the secret to success.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like for my avenue, for handyman work, furniture assembly, I see that people are getting furniture all the time throughout the year. Every week, you're getting new furniture, you're getting a new desk, you're getting a new bed frame, and they might not feel comfortable with their ability to set it up themselves, or they value their time and they just want to pay somebody else to do it, and they need to get their time back with other things in their life. And so that's a need that I saw. Like, okay,
so they're getting value by saving time.
They're saving their time, exactly. I'm getting their time back to them.
Or they can't do it. They can't physically do it, and they need to hire somebody who can physically do it.
Sometimes your customers will be a little bit older, and they need help with this. It's just like with junk removal when I was at 1-800-GOT-JUNK. There's all types of people that I've seen. I've seen young people. I've seen business
so that's
people.
Providing a service, right?
Yes.
You provide a service. And it could be, you could provide a product. Like you could create something that makes people feel better about themselves, like lipstick for women, right?
Yeah.
Or heels, like shoes with heels or whatever. You know, like,
or so, maybe like, there's a design
product that makes somebody feel better about themselves. Is adding value.
Yes, absolutely. You can have a product or a service. It doesn't matter what you guys do. There's so many avenues out there in this world for what people need. And maybe there's these heels out there for women, but there's no heel that's comfortable for women to wear. Let's just say that's something, right? Like maybe they don't have any brand of shoes out there for women that's a heel, and it's also for comfort.
What you're talking about is innovation.
Yes, you can be an innovator. You don't have to go and reinvent the wheel like we always say, but you can add your own personal innovation to it. Like you can see
make a new iteration.
Yes, exactly. You got to be an innovator. You have to be able to think outside the box.
Well, you have to do that anyways because things are always evolving. Things are changing.
Always evolving. Always. Everything is. Technology. I mean, look how far we're coming with that. I mean, it's with the cars, with tech, with my garage door stuff. Everything evolves, so you got to make sure that you're evolving with the times as well.
So going back to this quote, formal education will make you a living, self-education will make you a fortune. That self-education includes what we're talking about here, the way that you self-educate on innovation, on seeing a need and filling a need is by doing research, market research, and scanning the remote environment to see what changes are happening in the world. How are people's tastes and preferences changing, and kind of getting a little bit ahead of the game. If you can foresee what direction people are trending towards, then you could be the innovator. You could be the person who's avant-garde, cutting edge with the newest whatever iteration of whatever product or service it is that you're going to provide. If it's a product, then we're talking about this heel that feels comfortable to wear, right? As a hypothetical example. And so doing self-education includes doing that research to be able to create that new product.
And you know what? That market research is so important because maybe where I live, the necessities of the people out here are different than where you are, because over here, let's say, you know, like one thing important is snow plowing. Over there in Florida, yeah, exactly. So sometimes with what you're going to do with business, it can depend on where you're living at. Like if I want to open a snow plowing business, if I'm a Massachusetts born resident, right? I'm from Florida, but if I'm from Mass and then I want to move, and then I move to Florida for some reason, like, okay, I want to take my snowplow business down there because I have a snowplow business.
It's not going to work.
Here. It's impossible because there's no damn snow for you to plow. It's not going to work. And you know what's funny is that quote by Jim Rohn is also just like a quote that everyone knows, and it's, you can catch a fish. You can catch a fish for a man. I forgot exactly what it is, but you can catch him the fish.
You can feed a man a fish, and he eats for a day.
You feed him for a day. Yes.
But you can teach a man to fish,
and he
eats for a lifetime.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. I love it. I love these quotes. I love Jim Rohn, man. He's got so much gold. Like he has so many little
valuable. And the greats, they repeat each other. So like I've seen here Jim Rohn. This seems like he's quoting Napoleon Hill. I've seen Napoleon Hill quote James Allen, who wrote As a Man Thinketh. Right. And if James Allen quotes the Bible, which comes from God. And so that's the highest source of authority that we can rely on. So it all circles back, you know, like this valuable information gets trickled on, repeated over time because it's true value. It's gold. It really works.
Yes, it does. Absolutely.
Okay. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and move into the spiritual tip of the day. And we have the book of Philemon out of Living the 66 Books of the Bible by Dr. David Jeremiah.
All right.
All right. Look at this, man. This beautiful coloring for the cover.
Oh, man. I love the artwork in there.
Right?
It's fantastic. It always reminds me of the Great Gatsby theme. Like I remember my mom made those invitations for my birthday. It's so high quality. Like it's, I'm going to be
your
honestly.
Gatsby birthday theme?
Yeah, the invitation, it looks like that.
Oh, that's nice.
And it's like, you know what? I'm going to be sad when we're done with these summaries from the Living the 66 Books of the Bible.
There's another book that's a red one, and it's I don't know what it's called, but it's something else. This is the 66 Books of the Bible. So this is Living It.
Oh.
I think the other one's like Understanding or something like that. So we have to get the next one, the red one.
Yeah, we will. Oh yeah. Dr. David, if you want to send it to us for free.
Right? Hello.
We're here. Help me, help you.
Yeah, help me, help you.
Help you.
I love that. Help me, help you.
Help you.
With me, without me. With me, without me.
With me, without me. I love
that line.
Oh, I love it.
It makes me want to watch it now. I know I have it in the closet over here, yours that you left behind.
Yeah, Night and Day. Yep. Yeah, I gotta watch that again. Oh yeah.
So good. Okay, we're talking about the movie Night and Day with Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz.
It's a great movie. If you guys haven't seen it, you'll remember With Me, Without Me when you watch it.
Without me.
With God, without God.
That's right. Yep.
Just saying, guys.
All right, so here we go. The final Pauline letter in the New Testament is a short personal note to a man named Philemon, who lived in the city of Colossae. From details in the letter, we can piece together the story that led to its writing. In the Roman world, slavery was pervasive and part of the cultural worldview. Philemon's young slave, Onesimus, stole some money and ran away. The young fugitive had apparently come to his wits' end in Rome and had sought out Paul, who was under house arrest there. Paul led him to Christ and sent him back with this note telling Philemon to receive Onesimus back, not as a slave, but as a brother. This little book has been one of history's greatest anti-slavery documents, but it also stands out as a treatise on forgiveness and reconciliation. This simple letter not only answered any questions Philemon had about where Onesimus was, it let him know that he was a changed man. And in everyday sense, it also teaches us the art of uplifting others. Wow, how potent is that? Because we were just talking about that.
Yep.
Paul encouraged Philemon with his letter, and the apostle also told him, the hearts of the saints have been refreshed by you, brother. And Paul asked him, refresh my heart in the Lord. With the right frame of mind and loving, positive attitude, you can be a source of inspiration and encouragement for someone today.
I love that.
Me too, man. That just fits so perfectly with what we were talking about today.
It always does, man. The messages, it somehow always connects to what we're talking about.
That's
going into the show.
How he works.
And we don't plan this.
I didn't read that before we started talking today. I just read it right now. First time. Yeah, I mean, just that's the way it works. It's proof in the pudding, man. There's proof in the pudding.
Because it's like, you know, when just you go to church, the pastor.
Yeah,
take it. Yeah, I mean, it's so amazing how that correlates, because it's like when you go see a sermon, when you go on Sunday, you go to church, the pastor has been looking at what he's going to talk about for that week, leading into it, and then he thinks of how he can create a life story to combine with it, so you can connect to it.
Yeah,
and inadvertently, we're doing that without trying to. That's just the magic of how God works. Is like we have this 20-minute conversation before we started the show. And then when we read this passage, it relates to it. It's so amazing how that works, and it's not a coincidence. Like there's no coincidence in it. It's God working.
Well, not serendipitous, but it's just divine. It's divine.
It's divine.
Yep.
It is. So I have the key
revelation.
Theme. Yeah, it is. I have our keys takeaways for today. So we have the key theme, the key challenge, verse, and the prayer.
Okay.
Our key theme is receive, respect, and refresh your brothers and sisters in Christ.
Love that.
Our key challenge: look for opportunities to spiritually encourage and refresh others. Give them the gift of encouragement, which is like what we're talking about before we started the show. Our key verse: for we have great joy and consolation in your love, because the hearts of the saints have been refreshed by you, brother. Philemon verse 1:7. Our key prayer: Father, I pray that I will be a source of encouragement and blessing for my brothers and sisters in Christ by my life, my words, and my actions.
Absolutely. Amen.
Being a light to others.
Yep. Encouragement, light, salt and light. Be salt and light. Salt.
And it says
salt preserves, and salt heals wounds, and salt adds flavor to life. And light pushes away darkness. It reveals the truth. It
pushes away the negativity.
You can see clearly in the light, right?
You absolutely
bad things happen in the darkness. That's why bad things happen late at night.
Yeah.
All the debauchery is in the dark when people are hiding in the shadows, you know?
Yeah, they're not going to doing this stuff in the daytime.
Everybody.
Yeah. And it's so interesting when it says by my life, my words, and my actions. So it's like you have to be a good steward. It's just by the way that you live your life.
Yeah. You know, we're called to be good role models.
Yeah.
And
you want them to see that.
There's a dichotomy, you know, there's a polarity of people who are selfish and people who are selfless. You know, and the call for Christians is to live a selfless life. Selfless meaning serving others, putting others before your own personal needs. It's easy to be selfish. If you look at a dog, what does a dog do? He lays around, licks his mouth, eats food, plays with himself, you know, sniffs other people's butts, right? I mean, what do dogs do, right? I mean, that's like, if you're living a selfish life, that's what you're doing. You're kind of doing that, you know? Don't be that, you know? Like,
dogs only have an excuse because they're cute.
You know?
The dogs can get away with it because they're cute. We can't get away with that crap, man. Don't live life like a dog.
Yeah.
You think you can just sit around and eat and do whatever the hell you want, rent free every single day?
Yeah.
Your food's paid for, your bills are paid for.
Yeah. No.
It's not happening for us. The,
Nobody's gonna adopt you to be their pet dog. God intended for us to work and make a living, so go do that.
Start making
You
these
don't want to
dogs
be out of
hunt for their
alignment of
food.
God's purpose for us. It's not a good idea.
Oh man, that's funny. That's a good
All
laugh.
right, so that was awesome, Sebastian. Thank you so much. We have the last part of the show, which is the Entrepreneurship tip of the day.
Yep.
And so we've been going over the Small Business Improvement Plan, and we're in category 2, part 3, which is intellectual capital.
Yes.
And so I'm going to give you a breakdown of what intellectual capital is. It's also known as knowledge capital. It's a part of your business that includes your systems, your policies and procedures, your standard operating procedures, and the processes that people follow. Like if you have a workflow, it's the process that people follow in order to accomplish a task, right?
Right.
So like if let's say you're a loan officer at a bank, right? And you have a process, a checklist that you follow when you're doing a loan application for a client who's buying a house and needing a mortgage for their home. So that process is intellectual property of the bank that you're working for. Okay. So all of these frameworks, systems, and procedures that are part of a business, that's your intellectual capital. Intellectual capital also includes your any kind of technology that you had created specifically for your business. Like if you have your own internal CRM, that would be intellectual capital, intellectual property. Any kind of patents and trademarks, copyrights or licenses are all intellectual capital. Any trade secrets that you have in your business, like the strategy that you've come up with, your strategy is a trade secret, okay? And so all of that has value, and it's all called intellectual capital. That's part of your business, right? And so you want to formalize all of that. You want to take an assessment of all of the intellectual capital in your company. Have you documented your frameworks, your systems, and your standard operating procedures? Do you have a policies and procedures manual? Do you have a booklet inside of your company where you have all of your trademarks, your patents, and your copyrights? What are the expiration dates of those? When do you need to renew certain licenses? So, and trademarks, because I think you have to renew those trademarks. I'm not sure because I don't do trademark law, but I think you have to renew them every 5 years. I'm not sure. You want to check with a trademark attorney to ensure that your trademarks, your licenses, your copyrights are all going to be renewed at the time that they're required to be renewed. So having all that in a place where you can go and check it on a annual basis will keep you will make your business sellable in the future, because when it comes time to sell your business, all of that stuff needs to be checked. And you don't want to spend a lot of money hiring attorneys to do all those checks for you when you can delegate that or do it yourself in your company so that you're ready to go when it comes time to sell. Okay. It's always about begin with the end in mind, and an exit strategy is having the end in mind. How are you going to what is your succession plan? How are you going to transfer ownership of your business? And in order to do that transfer, these things need to be done. So keeping an eye on your intellectual capital is important. It is part of the value of your business. And to give you an example of how intellectual capital works in the real world, I have a story I'm going to share with you. It's called The Tale of Two Mortgage Brokers. In a growing city, two mortgage brokers, Sarah and Mark, were well known for helping people achieve their dreams of home ownership. Both were knowledgeable and had a knack for finding the best deals for their clients. Sarah prided herself on her personal touch. She spent hours with each client, walking them through every detail of the mortgage process. Her clients were loyal and often referred others to her, but as her business grew, she found herself stretched thin. Every client interaction relied heavily on her personal involvement, and she was constantly busy. Mark, on the other hand, recognized early on that the mortgage business was more than just numbers and paperwork. He began to document the processes, creating detailed training manuals for his staff. He invested in technology platforms that streamlined client communication and loan processing, making the experience smoother and faster for his clients. Mark also developed a unique mortgage assessment framework that helped clients quickly understand their options, which he trademarked. As demand for their services increased, Sarah struggled to keep up. The complexity of the mortgage landscape meant she was spending even more time with each client, and she couldn't see how to grow her business without sacrificing quality. Mark, however, was scaling rapidly. His staff was well trained and equipped with the systems he had created. He forged strategic alliances with real estate agencies and financial advisors, creating a steady pipeline of referrals. Mark also secured a few exclusive licenses with local banks, allowing him to offer specialized mortgage products that others couldn't. His business grew, not just in the number of clients, but in its overall value. Years later, a large financial firm approached both Sarah and Mark with an offer to acquire their businesses. Sarah's business was valued based on her client list and current revenue, which was substantial but limited by her personal capacity. Mark, on the other hand, received a much higher offer. The firm valued the technology platforms, processes, and strategic alliances he had developed, as well as the intellectual property he owned. Sarah realized that while she had built a successful business, Mark's focus on creating and protecting intellectual knowledge capital, like his systems, frameworks, and alliances, had added significant value that she hadn't considered. Mark's business was attractive not just because of the clients he served, but because of the scalable systems and processes that could be replicated anywhere. Here's the moral of the story. The importance of intellectual knowledge capital in the mortgage industry, whether you're building a real estate agency or a mortgage brokerage business or any other business, it's essential to develop and protect the systems, the processes, and the strategic alliances that can elevate your business from being dependent on one person, you, the owner, as opposed to being a scalable and valuable enterprise level system. And that's our Entrepreneurship tip of the day.
I love it. I love these stories, man. And you definitely told the first one. It's so like you can almost put yourself in their shoes. You know, you get so intrigued with the story behind it and with the characters, and like, oh, what if I was in her position, or what if I was in his position? When you listen to this story, you much rather be in. It's Mark, right?
Yeah,
that's his name. You want to be in Mark's position. Yeah, you want to be in Mark's position because then his business, just like we were talking about in the show and what we talked about before the show, it's like you want to be scalable. You want to have those systems in place because you want to end up being like Mark. You realize at the start of it, it's like you said, beginning with the end in mind. Mark began with the end in mind. He began with, I can see it's more than just numbers. I can see it's more than just what meets the eye. I need to put systems in place and have a referral system of where I can send people to go with, like, okay, if you need something, this solution, you can go to this guy.
Right. It's duplicable, right? So like it's like a cookie cutter system. So like you can make a whole bunch of them because you have a system that's repeatable, as opposed to a system that operates exclusively on and relying on one person. That's you can't do it. You can't do much with that, right? Because only one person is doing that job. It's not scalable. It's not repeatable. There's no instruction manual on how to repeat it. So Sarah's system was just relying on one person, but Mark's system was a stack. It was like a whole process. So it was replicable. There was so much involved with it that anybody could pick up the policy and procedure manual and repeat it. And the trademarks and the strategic alliances were all built into the system, right? So again, all of that has higher value because you can make more widgets with that system than you can with Sarah's one-person production, which is what I was talking about before. One person is limited to only so much capacity. But when you create a system where you can have a whole bunch of employees carry it out, now your value just went up and there's no limit.
That's right. That's right. And now it can be replicable. And you can rinse and repeat it.
The more people, like human capital, that you can apply, like you combine them, right? You have human capital and intellectual capital. And when you combine those two systems together, there's no ending, baby. The sky's the limit.
Yeah, you want to have Mark's plan. You know, you want to be more like Mark in this situation, and you want to set yourself up for success. Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, so you're the chess master, and you're playing all the pawns on the table. Yep. You know, and of course you have to have a couple of leaders, right? You need some lieutenants, you need some chiefs, right, on the table. But it's all moving all those pawns. If you're just one individual person, you can only do so much, right? But if you're in control of the game, you're moving a whole bunch of pieces.
Yeah, you need to have like you're the king. You need to have your queen there. That's your like your general
Your
manager.
bishop, your
You gotta
knights.
have the knights that is going to be able
Yeah.
to do more work, and the pawns are
Yeah.
going to be like the
Yeah.
entry level
And
workers. And then you have the people.
what happens, what gets really exciting in entrepreneurship is that you don't have to play just one chessboard.
No, and that's with Mark's
You
system.
know, be
You
like,
can play
what's that TV?
multiple
Well, remember that was a
chessboards.
movie, Bobby Fischer or something like that? The kid was playing
Um,
like 9 chessboards or whatever.
I
Or
think
like
so.
the
Yeah,
TV show,
yeah.
The Queen's Gambit. That was on. I love that
Right,
show.
right, right.
Dude, and you're playing like 10 chessboards at one time. Like, that's a master entrepreneur right there.
That's where you want to be. Yeah, you want
That's
to
where I want to
make
be.
it. It's kind of like when you look at the like even with food industry, like when you look at McDonald's versus a mom and pop shop. You know,
Yeah.
like when you have a mom and pop shop, it's different because you can't really like if let's say Sarah has her bakery and she's doing everything herself,
Mm-hmm.
she doesn't have a system in place.
Yeah.
Or you have
Yeah.
something like a McDonald's, like where you can
Where you have a
franchise
system in place.
this.
It's
You have
scalable.
the system for everything, and so now
Yeah.
it's like you can grow and grow and keep growing.
That's right.
Versus you're
Yeah.
only ever going to stay in that one coffee
Yeah.
shop in
Yeah.
a small town.
With a
Versus
system, without a
without
system.
the system. Yeah,
With a system,
system, no
without a
system.
system.
Exactly. You want to be like Mark. You want to play chess with
Yep.
your business, and you
Yep.
want it to be scalable because that's
Be
how the
strategic.
profits keep going. Mm-hmm.
Be strategic.
Exactly.
Yep.
I love it. That was great. I love
Awesome.
these stories so much.
Thank you.
It's a
Me
little
too.
short story, and it's
And thanks to
captivating.
ChatGPT for giving it to me
Yeah.
because I give it the inputs and then it creates the story for me.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something that you guys can do is you can utilize the technology that we have in place.
Yeah.
I used ChatGPT yesterday. I made a cold calling script. Like I made a script for
Nice.
earning new business.
Nice.
And then so you get that script and then you add a little personal touch to it. There's little things that I had tweaked.
That's right.
And that's what you guys can do. So
yeah,
like
it saves time.
Saves you so much time.
But
and then you also get ideas
out,
from
so
it.
You got to
too.
know what you're asking for.
Exactly. You have to put the right questions, and then when you get the response, and then you have to know, like, okay, how can I tweak this a little bit to make it unique for myself?
Yeah.
And you can see that, like, oh, can you drop me a cold call script? And then when you look at that, it gives you ideas for what you can create yourself. Maybe you just rewrite everything, but that kind of gave you a format, and you can see, okay, this is along the lines of how a business person, how would a business make a cold call script? And then it's like, okay, how can Sebastian make it personal? You know, how can I tweak this to make it more like me? And I'm not just a robot and I'm reading everything in a monotone and everything that's not giving me any energy, anything like that. Like you can use ChatGPT and it'll give you ideas. And then you can create your own idea. If you don't even have an original idea to start with, if you're coming up with a business name, for example, I've used ChatGPT to help me give me ideas for a business name. And most of the time when I've used it, I don't even use the names that they give me for whatever, whether it's a business, it doesn't matter what it is. I just see some ideas, and then that gets my creative juices flowing. It gets me to start thinking outside the box. Like, okay, this is what I'm seeing for suggestions. Oh, that just gave me a great idea. I can call it this. So
right. It's great for brainstorming. It's great for research to gather additional information. I just recommend that if you are going to use it, then you give credit to the source.
Exactly.
Always provide the source of where you got your information, because that's the right thing to do, and it's not plagiarizing, right? Or well, I guess that's it, plagiarizing.
Yeah, pretty
right?
much.
Not stealing somebody's ideas. You're just you're sharing it, and that's
exactly.
Okay. So anyway,
wrong with that.
Dude, that was valuable information, man. That's great. I think people get the idea that you know that they can use ChatGPT and other resources online in order to get the job done.
Exactly. And that's about it, guys. That pretty much wraps up the show for today.
We had a lot of information that we shared. It's been an hour-long episode, which is cool.
Yep.
And I hope that this adds value to everybody who tuned in. We're sorry we were gone for the last couple of weeks, but we're happy to be back with you all. Yes. And we will see you guys next Tuesday. We'll go ahead and share this on our website, Entrefluential.club. And if you haven't checked out Entrefluential.club yet, we highly recommend that you go there and visit it, because there's a lot of resources there of blog posts that we share. I try to share one every Saturday. I don't always, because life gets in the way, of course. But generally, we post a blog every Saturday with some valuable information, whether it be for entrepreneurs or well, it's always for entrepreneurs, but it could be small business coaching, for professional services, or it could be life coaching, because we've got a series that we're doing right now that teaches life coaches how to be a Christian life coach, which is fun. We've got the Princess of Peace in training, and then the Spirit Warriors in training, which is really fun. This Princess of Peace, that goes towards it has like a Disney theme, princesses, and then the other one, the Spirit Warriors, are like Jedi Knights of the faith. And so it's really, I think you'll get a kick out of that if that's something that interests you. And then we're always sharing other additional types of information that helps entrepreneurs in general. So thanks. Check it out. I think you'll find some value there. And then also on Linktree, we have Linktree/John W. Tanner. That's my name. That's where we have, which you can see on the screen, obviously. But if you go to Linktree.John W. Tanner, you can find a bunch of resources that we have available there. A lot of stuff on there. And a copy of my new book, The Bespoke Startup, is available there for free. All you got to do is exchange your email address so that we can put you on our mailing list. And don't worry, we're not going to bombard you with a bunch of daily emails. I probably will send out. I haven't sent out any emails, quite frankly, but I plan on sending out one per quarter, maybe one per month at max. But it'll probably just be one per quarter, which just catches up on the stuff that we've been talking about on the podcast and the blog posts. That's really what it's going to do. Maybe give a couple additional advanced notices of when we get to the point where we're going to do seminars or like a convention, then that'll be a way for us to convey that information over. Or like right now, we're going to be working on some workshops, and so we can convey that information to you inside of our quarterly newsletter. I like the idea of doing quarterly because I see too much daily, weekly, and monthly, and I feel like people's inboxes are bombarded with emails, and I feel overwhelmed by it, and I'm sure most people feel the same way. So I think a quarterly newsletter, and I would prefer to do it by mail, but I just know that email is more economical, and so we'll be doing that. Maybe we'll do both.
Yeah, we'll see when we get there. But it's definitely so much better than getting bombarded with stuff every single day. It's like you already have so many.
I don't want to be one of those guys. I don't want to be that guy.
When you get our email, you're going to be excited to look at it because you're not going to see it every single day. It's a little bit different when you see it all the time versus it's going to come once a month. Now I'm going to look forward to that email.
Too frequent, loss of value.
Exactly. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the workshops that we're going to be doing. I have one that I'm going to be recording for you guys. So you guys have been seeing my dad do all of the workshops, but now I'm going to become more inclusive with it. So the next one is going to be, I'm going to be doing this next workshop that we're going to have for you guys. I'm also going to start posting a little health and fitness video. It's going to be a YouTube short every week. So you guys are going to see a quick snippet, 1 to 2 minutes long, and it's going to be everything health and fitness. So we're going to give you guys some access to a little bit more of the health and fitness side. So it shows some meal prep, some recipes. I want to take you guys a little bit into what I'm eating to lose this weight right now. And I'm also going to show you stuff from other people that I see. And you guys can share information that's not just your own. As long as you track your progress. Credit. Yeah, you guys are going to see my progress, and I'm really excited for this.
Yeah, I need to be on board with you too, man. I need to lose like 20 pounds. So
I'm telling you, when you start the diet, that's the worst. It's a killer. So like when you start tracking what your calories are, you can make it more sustainable for yourself. And that's what I've done for myself is like, I track it. Okay. So if I like to snack a little bit more at night than I do in the daytime, because in the daytime I'm busy and I'm with work and I'm doing this and that, I'm not really in a snacking kind of mindset. But at nighttime I snack a little bit more. So I save some more calories for the evening just because that's kind of how my day goes. And that's what better suits me. If you snack more in the morning, then you can have your calories more in the morning. You don't have so much left at night. But I leave a good amount of calories for the nighttime. That way, if I have a craving or whatever, let's say if I want to have this Hershey's Kiss or something, I can have that. I can have that and I can still lose weight. Just don't eat the whole bag. Like I would have, like old me, I would have ate the whole bag. and it would have like been with some ice cream in it, and also with some syrup and some
Oh
whipped
my
cream
God.
and all these extras. But
Candy,
I'm
candy
telling you
cane, candy
guys,
corn.
candy corn, candy everything. When you guys, if you just download MyFitnessPal and you
Yeah,
start
that's a great way to
tracking what
track,
you're
right?
eating, the thing is you're gonna view it like your money almost, because your calories for the day is your budget for the day, right? Like if I have a weekly budget for how much money I can spend from my wallet, with your calories, it's the same exact thing. So you put all your information in there, put how much pounds that you want to lose per week. It'll give you a rough estimate of how many calories you need per day to be at a deficit, to finish the week with a deficit. And that's how you lose the weight. And when you start tracking everything you're eating, you're going to realize, like, okay, maybe instead
Yeah,
of
it'll hold
adding
you, it'll
all of
keep you
this extra
accountable.
stuff, it does, because instead of making the egg sandwich 300 calories with your poor decisions, you can make that sandwich close to 1,000 calories.
Yeah, it should adjust your decision making.
It does, because that's what it does for me. Like when I
Mhm.
look at, oh, okay, I'm going to add this and that, and then I'm like, whoa, my meal went from, I'm telling you, I went from 350 calories in one meal to like almost 600 calories because I was adding these extras.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then I had to sacrifice because I'm
Yep.
like, okay, now I'm eating this. Now I have less calories in my day.
Mhm.
So now I'm like, oh, now I got to stop for later. So guys, download the MyFitnessPal. I encourage you to do that. I'm excited to get this content out there for you guys. I'm really, really excited about it. There's going to be so much that you guys are going to be able to see, quick little bits of information. But yeah, that concludes the episode for today. What episode were we on today? 71 or
71.
72?
That
71.
71. Yeah.
Wow. So thank you guys for tuning into episode 71. Thank you guys, whether or not you see this right now, or you see it today, or in the future, whenever you're going to watch it. Thank you for tuning in. We love to have you guys here. Tell your friends about it. Tell your family members about it. If you want to get them closer to God and you
Any
want to have a good
entrepreneur that you
avenue,
know, yeah.
yeah, entrepreneurs, it doesn't matter who it is. And if
Mhm.
you guys are interested in the show and you like it and you would like to be a guest on the podcast,
Mhm.
we would be so happy to have you on here. I don't care if you're an entrepreneur, if you're in the fitness space, if you're in the holistic, whatever it is, mental, physical, spiritual, and entrefluential. These are all the
Mhm.
topics that we cover. If you're in any of these fields, we would
Yeah.
love
Let's
to
talk.
have you on here. We would love to have you on here for a good discussion.
Let's see.
So
Let's see. Yeah. Especially if you come back in the future and share like your progress, because that's what we want to see is progress. So
exactly. So
awesome. Well, thank you guys. And don't forget to go out there this week and
and
amplify
amplify your
your
message.
message. Thanks
Be a
for
light to
joining us. God
others.
bless you all and have a fantastic rest of your week. Take care now.
Bye bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye,
Bye,
you
you guys.
guys.
Bye,
Bye.
bye.